Tomorrow. It is recording now. Everybody good? Okay. This one. -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slope of -1. +1. Slope of 2/3. Down 2, left 3. There's the cross. And it is at -3, -1. Now, what makes these two difficult? They're not in slope-intercept form. 2y equals -7x plus 8. Y equals -7 halves x plus 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right 2. There's the line. 2y equals -x minus 4. So y equals -1/2 x minus 2. Minus 2. -1/2. Down 1, right 2. There's the cross. And it is 2, -3. Any questions? Now, since each question is worth 1 and you had to graph 2 lines, if you graphed one of the lines correctly, I'm giving you a half mark. I shouldn't give you anything, though, should I? Because if you graph the line wrong, they're going to cross and give you an answer that doesn't work up here. And you should have checked every single one. Shouldn't you have? Yes, but I am being charitable today. That is out of 4. Now, remember, I said normally I do not care how you solve a system, but I want you to be able to use all 3 methods. So for these 4, I specifically asked you to do substitution. And for 3 of them, it's already set up for you. You didn't even have to move anything. That says y is 2x minus 14. So -3x minus 2x plus 14 equals 6. -3x minus 2x minus 14 equals 6. -5x equals 20. X equals -4. Then I take that right up there. Y equals 2 times -4 plus 14. -8 plus 14. Y equals 6. And our answer is -4, 6. And of course you could check that. -3 times -4 is +12. 12 minus 6 is 6. So I know I'm right. Next. Again, it's set up for you. -4x minus 5 times -2x minus 3 equals -15. -4x plus 10x plus 15 equals -15. 6x plus 15 equals -15. 6x equals -30. X equals -5. I take that around to there. Y equals -2 times -5 minus 3. 10 minus 3, 7. -5, 7. And of course I check. I don't need to check for the bottom one. I go to the top. -4 times -5 is +20. -5 times 7 is -35. 20 minus 35 is -15, so I did it right. Again, you can have 1 mark each because you only had to know one thing: how to do algebra. If you left the negative sign wrong or something, I am gracious enough to give you half a mark, but I shouldn't because you are always able to check the answers. So you should never hand in something with a wrong answer, should you? No. This one isn't set up nicely. I was kind of mean here. You had to make this one -5x minus 17 equals y. I did make you do an extra step. Or you could recognize this one is set up for you. Negative 5x minus 2x plus 18 equals 17. Negative 5x minus 2x minus 18 equals 17. Negative 7x equals 35. X equals negative 5. Bring that up there. Y equals 2 times negative 5 plus 18. Negative 10 plus 18. 8. Negative 5, 8. And of course you check. Negative 5 times negative 5 is positive 25. Minus 8 is 17, so I'm right. Come to this one. Negative 3x minus 5 times 2x minus 10 equals 11. Negative 3x minus 10x plus 50 equals 11. Negative 13x equals negative 39. X equals 3. Y equals 2 times 3 minus 10. 6 minus 10. Negative 4. 3 negative 4. Any questions? Excellent. 2 elimination ones. I made the elimination ones a little bit more difficult. Can I eliminate either of these? No, I cannot. Why not? I'm good. I cannot eliminate them. Why not? No numbers are the same, so I have to change the way they look. What's the only thing that allows me to change the way they look? Multiply or divide. Can't divide because there's no common factor, so I got to multiply. So, you get 1 mark for recognizing you have to change them. So, 1 mark just for doing the multiplying. Now, here is where you have a choice. If you're getting rid of the x, what are you shooting for? 15. If you're getting rid of the y, what are you shooting for? 12. I do not care which one you did. Now, since we did y with all of the substitution ones, I'm going to eliminate y, so we're working with x. All right? So to do that, I need to get both of these to 12. I'm going to multiply that guy by 3 and that guy by 4, which gives me 9x plus 12y equals 3, and 20x plus 12y equals negative 52. Then it is a subtraction issue. 9 minus 20 is negative 11x. 3 minus 52 is positive 55. So x equals negative 5. Now I take that x and I can put it where? Anywhere I see an x, it doesn't matter. 3 times negative 5 plus 4y equals 1. Negative 15 plus 4y equals 1. 4y equals 16. Y equals 4. And our answer is negative 5, 4. That gets you another mark. So to do elimination, you get 2 per question. What about this one? Can I do elimination right away? No. If I want to get rid of the x's, what am I shooting for? 4. If I want to get rid of the y's, what am I shooting for? 3. I just got rid of the y's, so this time I'm going to get rid of the x's. Fair enough? So I'm going to... Does the top one have to multiply by anything? No. 4x plus y equals negative 5. What's the bottom one got to multiply by? 2. 4x plus 6y equals 10. Add or subtract? Subtract. 1 minus 6, negative 5. Y. Negative 5 minus 10. Negative 15. Y equals 3. What can I do with that y? Put it anywhere I see a y. 4x plus 3 equals negative 5. 4x equals negative 8. X equals negative 2. 3, negative 2. Any questions on how to do systems? Good. Next question. Hey, this looks awfully familiar. Almost exactly like the question in your notes. Step 1. There's investment 1. There's investment 2. I do not know what they are, so I'm going to give them letters. I'm going to give them Q and P. Why? Just 'cause. 'Cause it doesn't matter. What do I know about Q and P? Well, I know I had $1,000 and I split it between Q and P. I also know that 0.05 Q plus 0.08 P equals 68. There's my system. Solve it. I, of course, would multiply this by 100 to get rid of the decimals. And then, of course, I would use substitution. P equals 1,000 minus Q. Then I would solve it. When Q is 400, what's P? That's going to be out of 3. 1 for setting it up right and making your system, 1 for understanding how to solve it, and 1 for the algebra. Making that page out of 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now, number 10 has infinite answers, so be careful. If there is no solution, then what's the only part of that that would change? No solution means they are parallel, so it would have the same slope. What part of that doesn't affect slope? The 6. So as long as you have x plus 2y equals anything but 6, you get your mark. Anything but 6. The x and the 2y have to still be there, unless you want to do something like this. 2x plus 4y equals anything but 12. Because if I doubled those two, I would have had to double the 6 as well. For 1 mark. Infinitely many solutions. That means it's the exact same line. So that means you can write m, no, not m, because that's slope. N, any number times x plus 2y equals 6. Whatever number you put there is okay. So 2x plus 4y equals 12. 7x plus 14y equals 42. Everybody good? For 1 mark. Now, a lot of people were asking about this question. What are the 2 things that I am counting? Length and width. Great. What do I know about length and width? The length is. What math symbol means is? Length equals 3 meters greater than the width. Is the length bigger or smaller than the width? Bigger. So the length must equal the width plus how much? 3. What else do I know? I know 2 L's plus 2 W's equals what? 20. Is there 2 equations? Solve it. 2W plus 3 plus 2W equals 20. 2W plus 6 plus 2W equals 20. 4W plus 6 equals 20. 4W equals 14. W equals 6.5. If W is 6.5, what's the L? 9.5. Now, is that right? Is it? 2 W's is 13. 2 L's. Huh? Oh no, something's gone wrong. What's L? W is 3.5 and L is 6.5. Now it works. For 3 marks. What are the 2 things I'm counting in number 7? Adults, students. What do I know? 200 people attended the play. So what does that tell me? Adults plus students equaled 200. What else do I know? Ticket prices. How much were adults? 10 adults plus 6 students equaled how much money? 1680. There's your equations, then you solve it. I, of course, would do S equals 200 minus A. 10A plus 6 times 200 minus A equals 1680. 10A minus 6A plus 1200 equals 1680. 4A equals 480. A equals 120. How many adults went to the play? Adults equals 120. How many students went to the play? 80 for 3 marks. And lastly, for 1 mark each, 2, 3, 3, 2, 5, 7. What is it? How many solutions? 1, because they're going to have different slopes. Right? 2 times 3, 4 times 3, 7 times 3. Are they the same line? So how many solutions? Infinite. 4, 5, and 10. Hey, wait a second, that's times 2. 2 and 4, hey, wait a second, that's times 2. 2 and 6, hey, wait, 12 and 6, wait a minute, that's times 2. I better check. 5x minus 2y minus 12 and negative 10x plus 4y minus 6 times negative 2 times negative 2. Oh, but that's not right. So this is going to have the exact same slope, different y-intercept, so it's no solutions for 3 marks. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. 11 and 11 is 22 and 4 is 26. It is, you will be writing your test at 12:15. That test will take the bulk of the last block. Now listen to me. At least one of you is already thinking, oh, if I finish my test early, I must be able to leave early. No. So don't ask. You are here until 1:25. Okay? Okay. Second thing. Right now, we have 25 minutes. Every single one of you has at least one topic in the 8 units we covered that you are poopy upon. Every one of you. Think about it now. I'm going to wait 3 minutes. You write down as much stuff or as many questions as you don't have to write them down. Think up as many things as you can to ask me very soon at the end of 3 minutes. Every single one of you has a question. I know this. There ain't none of you that feels 100% confident. Question, so I don't call on them and then you feel on the spot. Sophia, go. Radicals in order from greatest to least. So like that, yeah? Okay. So, everybody else, listen please. Listen please. No, Kirit. Listen means you stop talking, okay? I don't care if you don't want to pay attention. I get that. But it still means you stop talking, okay? You just have to have a conversation with yourself in your head, all right? Start with how much you hate math class. That'll keep you going for a while. If you do not wish to discuss what the question that was asked, do exactly what I just said. Quietly think of a question that you have. So, Sophia, the best way to do this is to get them all like that. Root 32. If there's one 4 out there, how many 4s are under there? How many? This is a square root, right? So I was looking for groups of 2. So how many are under there? 2 of them. So that is the square root of 5 times 16, which is 80. That is the square root of 7 times 9, which is 63. And that is the square root of 8 times 4, which is root 32. Uh-oh, those are exactly the same, so that's fine. But now you can easily tell what's the smallest, root 32, and 2 root 8. What's next on the number line? Obviously root 63, because 63 is smaller than 80. So the next would be 3 root 7, and then 4 root 5, because root 63 is there, and root 80 is there. Now, if the question has a cubed root involved, then you have to understand the math, right? You have to say, oh, wait a sec. The cubed root of 32 has to be a little bit more than 3, because the cube root of 27 equals 3, and that's a little bit past 27. So now, if I make that cube root and the rest are square root, then I got to be smart about it, right? Root of 63 is almost 8, because that's almost the root of 64. Root of 80 is almost 9. This has to be a little bit more than 3, so it's still the smallest. Okay? Good. Anybody else wish to volunteer a question before I call their name? Oh, wait, I should be recording this. Oh, I am. Stop it. Charlotte. Multiplying radicals when they have fractions? Fractional exponents. So you're talking something like this. X to the 3/4 times x to the 5/6. Okay. Well, forget about turning them into radicals. Aren't they the same base? So if it was just 3 and 5, what would you do? You would add them, but it's 3/4 and 5/6. So you just add 3/4 plus 5/6, which is, what's the common denominator? 12. So that was times 3, and that was times 2. 9 plus 10 is 19/12, right? So I have x to the 19/12. Now you could leave it like that, or you could remember that the denominator becomes the index, the base becomes the radicand, and the numerator becomes the power. And then both of those are equally right. It just depends on the multiple choice question, right? Now, what I sometimes like to do to mess with your people's heads, A is x to the 19 over 12. B is x to the 12 over 19. C is 12 root x to the 19. And D is A and C. And kids always circle that one because they don't like to read all the choices. But that's kind of a move, and I don't like to do moves if I can avoid it. Okay? Same. Isha, what's your question? 2 questions. I only said 1. Go. Nah, maybe 1 or 2 questions. Not enough to even worry about. If you can't do algebra tiles, you're losing it. The exam's out of like 100. You are losing 20% of 2% over the course of the year. Right? So 2% divided by 5. Yeah? You're losing not enough to even worry about it. If you still don't get algebra tiles, you're losing maybe 0.1%. The only way that affects you in any way is if you have 49.5% at the end of the test, which would drop you to 49.4%. And if any of you think I am that mean, then you really haven't spent the last 20 days with me. Now, a real math question. Go. Polynomials to a fractional power. So something like 3x plus 9 to the 1/2. Divided by... You've got a question in front of you. Read it to me. 100a. Oh, yeah, this one. Okay. So, yeah, it's monomial. You said polynomial. So that was like, that's way harder than anything I've ever given you. So something like this. 25a to the 2b to the 4 over 5a b to the 7th all to the 1/2. Something like that. Okay. I would sort out the inside first. What's 25 divided by 5? 5. A squared divided by A. A. Actually, I'm going to make that A cubed. So this would be A squared. And I'm going to make that 8. So what would the B be? What would the B be? It would be buzzing. What would it be? -4. And all of that is to the 1/2, yes? Now, if that wasn't a fraction, if it was just 2, you would bring that 2 to everything, wouldn't you? And what would you do? That 2 would multiply. Well, it's just 1/2. So it's the same thing. 5 to the 1/2, which you could leave it like that, or you know it's the root 5. What is 1/2 2 times 1/2? You can't do 2 times 1/2. I have 50 cents, which is half a dollar, and now I have another 50 cents. 50 cents times 2 is $1. So what's 1/2 times 2? 1. A to the 1. Do I write a to the 1? No, it's just a. And what's negative 4 times a half? Negative 4 times a half. Negative 2. B to the negative 2. Is that allowed? So where would it go? Underneath. Or underneath. That's how you do it. Now, of course, you could also bring this into everything. But if this divides perfectly, you want to sort it out first. Okay? Let me give you let me give you an example of when it wouldn't divide perfectly. 64 x to the 9th y to the 6th over 27 x to the 18th y to the 3rd all to the 1/3. Does that divide evenly? Does 27 divide into 64? No, so I can't do this. If it doesn't divide evenly, then I like to bring the exponent in, which means I would have 64 to the 1/3 over 27 to the 1/3, a to the 3, because 9 times 1/3 is 3, b squared, because 6 times 1/3 is 2, over, it's supposed to be x and y, x to the 6th, y to the 1, right? Now, 64 to the 1/3 is the cubed root of 64, right? Which is what? 4. 27 to the 1/3 is the cubed root of 27, which is what? 3. Then 3 minus 6 is negative 3. Where does negative have to go? X to the 3. And 2 minus 1 is 1, so the y would stay up top. Understand? Cool in the gang. And of course this is recording. Who's next? Zach.
So I have this question. It's a similar topic, so I thought now would be a good time. Negative 3x to the negative 2 over y to the 4th, all to the negative 3rd.
All right, it's from your test. It's been on a couple of tests. What does a negative exponent do to its base? Reciprocates it. That's one way you could approach this question. So I'm going to do this question in 2 ways. One, I'm going to recognize that is going to flip this over, and it's going to become y to the 4th over negative 3x to the negative 2, now to the positive 3, because the flip only fixes that. Now the 3 goes into everywhere in the brackets. Y to the 12th, negative 3 cubed. Negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3. Negative 27. X to the negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. What there isn't allowed? Negative 6. Since it's already in the denominator, it has to move back to the numerator. And it's done. Now, if you want to go the other way and bring this in right away, you get negative 3 to the negative 3, x to the positive 6 over y to the negative 12. Negative 3 to the negative 3 becomes negative 3 to the positive 3 because it goes down. This negative comes up. Then x6, y12 over negative 3 cubed is negative 27. Don't care which way you do it. They both work the same. Who's next? Erlen, hit me. What? No, it's not kind of stupid because you need to know it. For which? For factoring? Okay. So, Erlen is asking when I do what? If there is no number here, then I need to multiply to 20 and add to 12. I'm getting to that. Here, there is a number here. So I'm in trouble now. The first thing I try to do is to factor it out. Can I divide 3 by 3? Yes. Can I divide 14 by 3? No. So I cannot get rid of that 3. So now I have to deal with the fact that I am not looking for what multiplies to 8, because this is 3 times bigger than this, isn't it? So I need to know 8 times 3. I need to multiply to 24, but I still need to add to 14. Okay? What is it? Is it 1 and 24? Is it 2 and 12? 2 plus 12. So I know it's x plus 2 and x plus 12. But it's not really 2 and 12, is it? Because the only reason I knew it was 24 was because I multiplied by 3. So because I multiplied by 3 up there to get these fake numbers, I better divide by 3 to get the real numbers. Now, does that simplify? No, so it becomes 3x plus 2. Does that simplify? Yes, it becomes 4. X plus 4. And it's done. So what tells you what to do is whether or not you have a number there. Okay? Now sometimes you'll have a number there that you can get rid of. Then you go back to this. Okay? Jimmy Brock. When you would find a union for domain and range? Certainly. So, Jimmy, where is domain on this graph? X or Y? X. Great. What's the lowest X value you see? No. X's are on here. No. X's are on here. How far this way does the X's go? Pardon me? -4. So your X's start there. -4. It's a closed dot, so is -4 included? Yes. Less than X. What does it go up to? Where does it stop? 0. Is that a closed dot? Can you do that? You understand that? Okay, now, observe. What do you see over here? What happens right there? Does it start again? At what number? 3. Is 3 a closed dot? So is it included? What does it go up to? Is 6 a closed dot? No. So is it included? No. Now, you will notice that I have one set of the domain there and another set of the domain there. But they're two lines on the same graph, so I have to union them. Done. Union means you put two things together. Okay. Anybody else? Jeshin, hit me. Shape from shape? Oh, you want a 3D one? No problem. No, that doesn't work. Let's make that 8, 4, 7. Let's make that 4. All right. Do you want to do surface area or volume or both? Both. Okay. Let's do surface area first. Before you do any math, what is happening here? I have a rectangular prism, right? And I've drilled 2 holes out of it, yes? Which means I have the rectangular prism, and I have removed 2 cylinders, yes? Now, when I remove those cylinders, is that circle gone? No, wait, I'm just going to write it out. Minus 2 cylinders, right? Okay. So the rectangular prism, I know, is 2 WL HL LH, right? We'll come back to it. All right, so I'm very quickly going to finish this question, but I'm not actually going to do the math, and then I'm going to give you your test. So, I have a prism. I'm removing 2 cylinders, yes? But since I'm doing surface area, I'm removing that circle and the circle at the back, yes? And I'm removing that circle and the circle at the back, yes? So I'm actually removing that and that, right? But when I cut this hole, I'm gaining new surface, correct? So I'm adding those parts, right? So what I do is I write it out 2 WL plus HL plus, what am I missing? WL, HL, HW plus how many? 2 pi RH, and 2 pi RH is 4 pi RH, minus 2 pi r squared minus 2 pi r squared minus 4 pi r squared. And then I just put in my numbers. I trust you can put in the numbers. That is surface area. If I am doing volume, that's a rectangle prism minus 2 cylinders. Because volume, it's just minus. There's nothing new showing up. It's just gone. So prism is LWH minus 2 pi r squared h. That's the cylinder, and there's 2 of them. So you just fill in the numbers. Okay? All right. Now, last reminder, and it is recording. If you want more practice, you're still, go to my page where I showed you to go yesterday. Search for review links right here and go to the 3 links that apply to you guys, which is the link that is all and 2 practice tests. Okay? Okay.